Alright. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of TJ Talks About the Drama, and somehow gets it to be about business, because it's all I know. I'm sorry. Quick disclaimer. If anyone is coming here and is upset that this is becoming a drama channel, it's not, I promise. I normally don't, look for drama or anything like that. However, when I do cover drama, and when I use clickbaity titles, like I did for this one, the purpose behind it is I believe I have a unique perspective on whatever the drama is, and the intent is not to accentuate the drama. It's not to cause more drama. It is to hopefully get some information out that people haven't thought about, and hopefully help people deal with similar situations in a different way, so that the drama doesn't happen. So, if you're worried about this becoming a drama channel or anything like that, it's not. My Power Rangers RPG review is coming out on Tuesday or on Monday. When the new Critical Role book launches, I will be doing a review of that. Literally the second I can get a copy of it. Yeah. And then going forward from that, I'm probably going to be covering some of the new subclasses in that. So don't worry. If you're worried that this is what the channel is becoming, it's not. However, this new bit of drama, I kind of ignored it when it first happened, and I've watched a bunch of different videos on it, and it specifically reminded me of probably the most valuable management information I ever got, and the most difficult lesson I have ever had to learn in business in general. And that is the idea of the cost of doing business. So, how does that relate to this? Well, so, quick 1,000-foot overview of what happened. G4, forever ago, was a cable TV channel that focused on gaming in general. I was a big fan of G4 back when it was on TV. My personal favorite shows on there where I liked X-Play. I didn't get to watch it a ton, but I liked X-Play. And specifically, I liked Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. Specifically, I liked them as a duo. I thought they played off each other really, really well, which they did. And I liked their comedy. I thought it was really funny. And then I also was actually a huge fan of Arena, which lasted for like 2 or 3 seasons. Like, it was a super short-lived show, but I really liked Arena. And then obviously Attack of the Show was a phenomenon. My personal favorite host was Candice Bailey, because I thought her and Kevin Piera were hilarious together. Like, they were just so good, and it upsets me to this day. Not because she doesn't deserve it, because she 100% does, but Candice Bailey has basically faded from anything involving hosting or anything like that. I believe she's got a couple kids now, and I believe that's what she's focusing on. Is she's focusing on being a mom and, living the life that she loves to live. So all the power to her, but I thought she was great, and I miss her. Anyway, so G4 was canceled way back in 2013, I believe, is when G4 officially went off the air. And then, like, a couple years ago, actually, G4 announced on YouTube that they were coming back as a YouTube channel, and it took, like, a year for them to hire all their new hosts and things like that. And a couple, like, really awesome people became members of G4. Adam Sessler is back. Kevin Piera is back. Gerard the Completionist is a part of it, which is super good, cool. Xavier Woods is a part of it as well, and I cheered for, because he, as soon as they announced that G4 was becoming a thing again, he went in this huge spiel to basically pitch himself as a host, and he got it, and he 100% deserved it. He's a super cool guy. But most recently, um, there was a rant that was made by one of their hosts, Frost. I believe that's their name. To be 100% certain, I'm not sure because their handle, I believe, is like Frost Curran. And I've heard them referred to as Frost. I'm not 100% certain. But anyway, so Frost goes on this rant that, from everything I can tell, was completely unscripted, unprepared, and they basically screamed at a camera, kind of like what I did to do, but not quite nearly as refined and to a significantly larger audience. And they just got really, really upset. And to be perfectly honest, I'm actually going to look up. Let me see if I can find. Just because I want. Stop it! It sucks trying to use a computer with this. There we go. All right, so her official. And I am. There we go. I was specifically looking for her pronouns because I felt bad using they them. Just because I didn't know what her pronouns were. So her official Twitter handle is MG Curran. I know a lot of people call her Frost on G4. I'm going to just refer to her as Frost because it's part of her. Or I'll probably just call her Curran because that is easier. Anyway, so Curran went in this rant about quote sexism in the games industry, and she just goes on a tirade about how people comment about her looks, and they're constantly comparing her to previous hosts on G4. She specifically mentions Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb. If you're not aware of these two names, again, I mentioned Morgan Webb before, and Olivia Munn was one of the early hosts of Attack of the Show with Kevin Pierre way back in cable TV days. If you are unaware, both of them are gorgeous. And Curran is a completely different body type. She's a completely she has a completely different look. I personally would never describe her as unattractive in any way, shape, or form. She is just a different look. Like it's just she's different. I still think she's very attractive, but that being said, she goes on this tirade about how people are always comparing her unfavorably to former hosts who were absolutely gorgeous. I want to just really, really emphasize, I believe both Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb were voted were regular guests on Maxim's Top 100, which is just a list of pretty girls. It's what it is. And other hosts that she never even mentions were just gorgeous. Like, all the girls on G4 were gorgeous. When you look at the ones that she didn't mention, like Sarah Underwood. Sarah Underwood was Playmate of the Month and Playmate of the Year before she got on G4. Candice Bailey was gorgeous. Layla Kaylee was gorgeous. Like, they just had all these very, very pretty people. And that's not to say that their male staff wasn't pretty too, though let's be perfectly honest. The male staff was not nearly as pretty as the female staff. Like Kevin Pierre is a great guy, and I'm sure, conventionally attractive. Chris Hardwick, which I have my own issues with him as a person, but he's easy on the eyes as well. Matt Mira, not quite as much. And he's still a great guy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. So anyway, she goes in this tirade and she yells at her audience base, which is a huge mistake to make just in general. But I'm going to talk about it in a slightly different way. And then she ends the rant with, if you don't like it, don't watch. Another really dumb thing to say on the internet because there is shit to the tons of free content on the internet. There's tons of it, tons of it, tons of it. You are constantly fighting to get people to watch your stuff. And it's not just you are fighting like people's attention spans to get it. No, you're actively fighting Google and Twitter and every other social media platform is doing everything they can to ensure that people don't see your content unless you pay them. Like, that is the whole grift of this entire thing, is you are constantly fighting against the very platforms that you make money for, to get people to see your content. So telling people to go, if you don't like it, leave, or if you don't like it, don't watch it, is a bad idea, because they will go, okay, I have 20,000 hours worth of other free stuff that's not going to call me names. So I'm going to go watch this. You go ahead and yell at the people that are giving you money. So this created a ton of backlash, partially because the hosts that were live with her, including Adam Sessler, sat there and applauded her, insulting their fan base. Again, really, really bad idea. And then G4 clipped it and tweeted about it and shared it and just made it this big thing, like, wow, look at this incredible, wonderful thing that we did. Congrats to our host for insulting our fan base and attacking them personally. Now, are the thing that she's saying untrue? Absolutely not. She is 100% right in a fair amount of what she's saying. Some of the stuff that she's saying, she actually contradicts herself a little bit, and she does show just the bias that is inherent in her own the thought process. One of the things that stood out to me is she talks about how the hate, she gets hate for stuff that Adam Sessler doesn't. And the reason that she gets hates for stuff that Adam Sessler doesn't is Adam Sessler is an OG and she's not. But she claims it's because, he's a man and she's not. And then she also mentions, and Jared and everyone else on the channel, all the guys, they get it too. But when it's done to me, that just shows the misogyny. And it's like, well, no, you're not helping yourself with that. So I'm not saying 100% everything she said was 100% truthful. But a lot of the points she made are just absolutely right. Things like people talking about jerking off to female celebrities as some form of compliment. Super creepy, not okay. Like, there isn't a world where me going up to someone that I've never met before and going, hey, I have self-pleasured to a picture of you. It's not okay. There is no world where that is an okay thing to do, where that is an acceptable thing to do. Nothing. No, it's not okay. Giving people hate because of their physical appearance, not okay. Not an exclusively female thing. I myself have gotten on my tiny little channel here. I have gotten comments about my physical appearance, negative comments. And nobody watches my shit. They don't. So, and I am a white, male, heterosexual dude. I am quote unquote the most privileged person on the planet. Though not quite, because I am part of a minority group called disabled people. But I have an invisible disability, so that makes me a lesser version of a disabled anyway. So, so this whole tirade, I'm not saying what she said was factually incorrect in its entirety. There was a few things that were spun by her own personal bias, but most of the points that she made are valid points. And it instantly reminded me of a conversation that I had with the best manager I have ever worked under. He massively shaped my management style, which is pretty impressive because when I started working under him, I already had an extremely successful turnaround for a major store. I transferred stores. I fixed the busiest store in one of the busiest districts of a multinational company. I brought them from absolute dead last in the district and near the bottom of the company to number one in the district, and I think top three in the company for a little while. That's massive, massive. So I already was an accomplished manager before I got there, and he changed my life. And a lot of it was due to this particular conversation. And the funny thing about it is, I don't actually remember what it was I was obsessing over. But thinking back to the time, I'm thinking it was probably something to do with either associates or customers. I'm not 100%. It might have been both. Stealing from the company. At one of the stores that I worked at, this particular store, we had an internal theft problem. Newsflash, in retail, when you lose product just in general, it's called shrink. That's the term that they use. And shrink is actually a long list. There's a lot of different ways that you lose product. You lose the ability to sell product. Some of shrink is due to damaged product. Some of shrink is just due to not getting shipped the product that you're supposed to. When you get, a truck that has 7 pallets worth of stuff, every so often you're not going to get absolutely everything just due to errors in shipping and stuff like that. So that's a portion of shrink. Some of shrink is retail theft, where people come into the store and they steal stuff from you. However, the largest source of shrink, and I believe this is still true today, though San Francisco is changing this rather drastically. Normally, the largest source of shrink is what's called internal theft, which is when your own employees take things from you. And that is actually a wide range of things. Some of it is things like employees taking food and just eating it without paying for it. Where they're not stealing anything out of the store. They'll just take a candy bar and munch on it and then not pay for it. Extremely common. Other things are, employees specifically stealing things because they know how the security systems work. That was one of the things we were dealing with in that store, and I was obsessing about it. And I think there was a couple other things as well that I was obsessing about that in the grand scheme of things weren't really big, but they were causing issues with the margins that I was attempting to fix in the store. And it was a rough store to fix. It was not fun to do. And then all the work that I did, they hired a new assistant store manager from a big box retailer, and he completely destroyed everything that I did, which pissed me off and got me to quit. But Fred was the manager's name, and he brought me into his office and said, "Jody, you need to quit." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You don't want me here? Like, I transferred specifically to help you." He's like, No. We love you here. But the stuff that you're focusing on isn't that big a deal. I said, "Yes, it is." And I sat there and I rattled off statistics and the things to him. I said, "We're losing this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And, if we clamp down on this, we can get rid of this." He said, "No, we can't." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Cost of doing business." I said, "What?" He said, "Cost of doing business. This is the hardest lesson you're ever going to learn in this business, is the idea of cost of doing business." I said, "What the hell are you talking about, dude? People are going to take advantage of you. Constantly. And if you focus on the people taking advantage of you, you will fail, because you can't stop people from taking advantage of you. You can't. It's not possible. Every time you stop one person, 7 more will show up and use a completely different way to take advantage of you. You will always be taken advantage of in business. It sucks. It really sucks. It's not fair. This idea of specifically what Kieran was stating, it's not fair that she has to deal with this. Guess what? She's 100% right. It's not fair that people are focusing on her physical appearance and are comparing her to people she has never competed with. She never worked for G4 when Morgan Webb or Olivia Munn worked for G4. She doesn't. They were never competitors. They were never co-workers. It is completely unfair that she gets compared to effectively ghosts. Olivia Munn doesn't host things anymore. Olivia Munn is an actress now, and she's done pretty well for herself. Morgan Webb doesn't work in television anymore. Morgan Webb, from as far as I can tell, Morgan Webb works in game development now. And she seems to be doing really well there. So they are literally comparing Kieran to ghosts. It's not fair. But it's a cost of doing business. And this is what Fred sat me down and said, this is cost of doing business, man. I said, but we are losing money. He said, yep. And that doesn't bother you? He said, of course it does. It's cost of doing business. What? This doesn't make sense. I can stop. If you would just give me this, this, and this, I can stop this. He said, yes. And then something new will happen. I said, but that's not fair. He's like, yep. Doesn't matter. Cost of doing business. Something you have to understand about running a business is people will always take advantage of you. 100%. Does that mean that you should just roll over and let them destroy your business? Absolutely not. But you need to understand what is unacceptable and what's the cost of doing business. And internal theft is a cost of doing business. Does that mean you should just let your employees steal whatever they want? No. If you catch an employee stealing, you need to bring it up, punish the employee, possibly fire them, possibly press charges if what they were stealing was big enough to press charges on. But if you spend the entirety of your day trying to stop every single instance of internal theft in an entire company, you will never win. It's the cost of doing business. You need to make sure that the things you can control, big theft, things like that, you take care of. And the little stuff, you are doing well enough in other aspects of your business that you can absorb the cost of doing business. And unfortunately, part of the cost of doing business on YouTube, on social media in general, is you are going to be attacked. You're going to be attacked a lot. They're going to attack you for the things that are unfair. Completely unfair. I myself have been attacked. Again, on this tiny little channel. I have been attacked for everything from the way that I look. I've had people comment about my stutter. I've had people comment about my belief structure, about my gender, about my glasses. And this is just being here. I have been a bully magnet since I was a kid. Like, I have always been attacked. And choosing to work in a field like YouTube, and when your little face is out there, you're going to be attacked for your looks. I will admit that women get it a little harder than men on the internet, and some people go, no, they get it much. They don't. They get it a little bit harder. I will admit it is a bigger deal for women than it is for men in general. Doesn't mean that men don't get it. The reason a lot of times that men don't get it is our self-worth isn't quite as tied to our physical appearance. There are other things that we are generally attacked on significantly more. For a long time, and I think this is still a thing, our sexuality was what most people would attack for men. Because that was something that was a huge part of just men in general. Our identity, our sexuality is very much connected to our self-worth. So sexuality is something that is constantly attacked for men, significantly more so than women. Men are called virgins. Men are called gay in a derogatory term. The funniest jokes in the world are Uncle Touchy raping little boys. You know, it's really, really fun to joke about men getting raped. I'm not a huge fan of that because I was when I was a child. And I don't find it funny. But that's something that I have to deal with because that's a cost of doing business. So yeah, the other aspect of this is another thing that's been brought up quite a few times. If attacking people led to positive change, there would be no fat people. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, let me tell you. Most of my life, I have been attacked for my weight. I did not get unhealthy levels of overweight until college. And then after college when I got into management. I actually, at one point, I weighed about 205 pounds. I had a lot of muscle because I was working out 3 times a week. I was heavy into my martial arts at the time. I lost, I think, 40 pounds in 6 to 9 months because I went full into my martial arts and I was in fantastic shape. And then I got to 330 pounds, which is morbidly obese, which is incredibly unhealthy. I was made fun of for my weight all the way back in middle school when I wasn't overweight. I was just quote unquote chunky. I would go through these things where I would gain a decent amount of weight and then I would grow. And so what would happen is I would look kind of fat for like 6 months to a year, and then I would grow 6 inches in a summer. And then all the puffiness would get stretched and I would look like a normal-ish kid at that age. It didn't matter what weight I was always made fun of for being fat. Even when I was in marching band, even when I was in West Side Story, and I lost 20 pounds during West Side Story because we would rehearse 6 days a week for about 4 hours a day. And that was almost entirely dancing and fight training. 6 days a week, 4 hours a day. Most of the cast lost insane amounts of weight. There are still pictures of me from that, and I looked great. Still got called fat. Every single person who has ever been overweight has been attacked for their weight. They have. I will guarantee it. And it has never caused people to change their weight. Ever. It doesn't work. When I lost all that weight, it wasn't because somebody called me fat. It was because the girl that I don't want to say in love. I still love the girl. We're not as close as we used to be, but I have very strong feelings for the girl. I don't know if she's married, but she has kids. She has a significant other. There's nothing between us anymore on a romantic level. But she was dating this absolutely horrible, disgusting psychopath. And the reason I lost all the weight was because the psychopath convinced her to stop talking to me. She was my closest friend at the time. The psychopath convinced her to stop talking to me. And I got it into my head at that point that I was this horrible, disgusting blob of fat. And that was the first time I decided that I was going to take my own life. And I've talked about that. It's just a story. But after that happened, I just kind of got up and I went, you know what? I'm tired of looking like this. I'm tired of not being able to do the things that I want to do. And I miss when I was doing martial arts regularly because I felt good about myself. I felt confident. I wasn't afraid. That was one of the biggest deals of martial arts for me, was the idea that when I was practicing martial arts and when I felt confident in my abilities, I wasn't as scared. Because in a situation where I was in danger, I felt like I could defend myself. I felt that if somebody tried to hurt me, I could stop them. Was that 100% true? It was never tested. Let's put it that way. But I felt better. And that was the thing that caused me to get my act together. Not being called a fat blob. No, that convinced me to kill myself. No, the thing that got me was me realizing that I liked myself better. And I liked my life better when I was doing the things that I liked. And when I was able to do the things that I wanted to do. Boogie2988 has talked about this many times. People would shame him for his weight. Never helped him once. Talk to any person that has struggled with their weight in their entire life. None of them have ever went, oh yeah, the reason that I was able to lose all this weight was because this guy just kept calling me, hey, fat ass, over and over again, and that made me want to do it. It doesn't work. If your goal is to change people's behavior, attacking them never works. And that's what Curran did, is she attacked people that were doing unacceptable things. Again, I'm not saying what was happening to her is okay, is justifiable, anything like that. What I'm saying, it is the cost of doing business, and what she did is not going to help her. It's not going to help G4. It's already shown to massively hurt G4. They started hemorrhaging subscribers for the first time since I think since their big launch. Now hemorrhaging, I mean, they lost a couple thousand subscribers on YouTube, whereas I think they had something like 500,000. So a couple thousand is not a massive amount. It's less than 1%. But the fallout continues. So it may be that causes more, I'm not sure. But attacking people to stop them from doing bad things doesn't work. It has never worked. If it did work, there would be no fat people in the world, because 100% of fat people have been attacked for their weight. It's just how it is. Now, I'm not saying that skinny people don't get attacked for their weight. They do. That's the really funny thing. Is fat people get attacked for their weight all the time. Skinny people also get attacked for their weight all the time. Everybody has been attacked for their physical appearance in some way, shape, or form. Even the pretty people have. But specifically fat people, we're always attacked for our weight. And it never works. It never changes anyone. Even the people that do make changes because of negative reinforcement, because or negative punishment technically, because it is a bad method, the weight never stays off. They generally lose it for a little bit and then go right back to it, because the motivation was not a good motivation. So what Curran did was exactly the opposite of what she needs to do if she wants this behavior to stop. He's not going to stop by attacking it. It actually invites more. So if her goal was, hey, if I do this, then maybe something will change. No, that won't happen. That is the exact wrong thing. If her goal was, well, I want to say this because it'll make me feel better, it won't. Again, I have done rants like this. I did this to a couple of my old bosses when I quit. And by a couple, I mean one. It doesn't make you feel good. It feels good in the moment. And then afterwards, you feel worse than before. Because you spoke out in anger. And most of the things that you do in anger are the wrong decision. Most. I'm not saying all. There's such thing as, righteous indignation, and anger can be used to do good things if you have real control over your emotions. Most of the decisions you make when you're angry are the wrong decision. And it feels good at the time, and then later on you feel significantly worse. And it turns into a vicious cycle of you keep making decisions in anger because what you did felt good for that little bit of time when you were doing it, and then you felt significantly worse. You do it again to try and get the same high, and it doesn't work. So you have to do more and more and more. I have a buddy. If you've never watched his stuff, you need to. His name is Declarations. It's DK Larations. He's on Twitch. He is probably the best streamer I have ever watched, hands down. He is insightful. He is remarkably entertaining, and probably my favorite aspect about him is he's probably the nicest guy I've ever met. I got super lucky that I was introduced to his content back when I was trying to start up a collab channel, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I saw your stuff. We really like it. Would you like to be a part of our collab channel? We were effectively trying to create a multi-channel network. It blew up. And he turned me down at that point, which was the right thing to do. But we started as acquaintances, and I think now I can call him one of my friends, which is a really big deal to me. I don't know how he feels about that, but for me, being able to call someone a friend is a really big deal. The reason I bring up DK is, and he hasn't done this quite as much because to be blunt, I haven't really seen that many trolls in his chat. But he had this way that he would deal with trolls that is by far the absolute best way to deal with it. And he came to this this solution through something strange, research. They've actually done studies, and they found that most internet trolls, and by most I mean like upwards of 70 or 80%. So most, not like most as in 51%. No, this is the large majority of internet trolls are actually fit the same archetype. They're generally young men who are angry about something. And by young men, I mean teenagers and just below. So anywhere between the ages of about, I think it's like 11 to 12, all the way up to about 15, 16, 17. That is your internet trolls. Now, does that mean all internet trolls are that? No. Again, we're talking about 70, 80%. That means they're bare minimum, 20% of them are other places. There are professional internet trolls that are adults in their 30s and 40s. There may even be people in their 50s, though I'm not sure. But studies have shown, for the most part, internet trolls are young men that are angry. And so DK had this brilliant way of dealing with trolls where a troll would come into his chat and he would stop what he was doing and go, hey, I get that you're angry. I don't know what's hurt you. I don't know what's made you angry. But I know that you've come to the decision that the way to deal with your anger is to come in and try and get attention. And you decided that the best way to get attention is to get negative attention, is to try and hurt other people so that they attack you. Because it gives you attention, it makes you feel powerful. I'm here to tell you it's not a good thing. it's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to make the pain go away. It's not going to make your anger go away. It's just going to make it worse. I'm sorry about whatever's happened to you, but if you'd like to stay, I'd really love for you to hang out and talk to me, talk to the rest of the people here. We're a nice bunch. I am paraphrasing. This is not 100% what he said, but it was basically along those lines. And I kid you not, I watched people come in and troll him and say horrible things. And I watched him stop his streams and go, hey, I know that you're angry. I know that you're hurt. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry about whatever hurt you. I know it's not fair. And I watched these people that came in just to shitpost and attack him go, wow, no one's ever said that to me. And they stayed, and they interacted with us, and they became parts of the community. To the point where now, where DK's channel is probably one of the nicest places on Twitch. And Twitch is a dumpster fire on a good day. But he has developed this really beautiful, wonderful community. And like I said, I haven't seen him do that recently. And by recently, I mean within like the last 6 months to a year. Possibly because I don't get to catch as many of his streams as I like to, because anxiety sucks. And partially because people don't troll him anymore. Because the people that do troll him get turned into not trolls. And it is an insanely effective way to deal with troll. It is actually a way to change the things. If you attack the trolls, all that happens in a good scenario, all that happens is you send them to someone else that can't defend themselves as well as you can. That's all that happens. If you silence them, all that happens is either they keep creating accounts until they get bored, or you send them to someone else. But if you treat them like an actual human being, and you acknowledge that the reason that what they're doing, the reason for what they're doing is that they themselves are hurt and in pain, and you acknowledge that, hey, I get that you're in pain, but what you're doing is not a good way to deal with it, okay? This is not okay. I'm not saying you're not okay. I'm not saying that you're a horrible, terrible, disgusting person. I'm saying what you're doing right now is not okay. However, I understand that you're in pain. I understand that you're frustrated. And that this is the choice that you've made to try and deal with that frustration. This is the wrong choice. But doesn't mean that you're wrong. Doesn't mean that you as a person are just wrong. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're disgusting, that you don't deserve to live, that you don't deserve to be happy, that you don't deserve to not be angry. What it does mean is you made the wrong choice. And that choice doesn't have to be who you are. So, if you want to keep making that choice, you're welcome to. You can make whatever choices you want. You are in control of your life. But if you want to feel better, if you want to stop being angry, if you want to stop being in pain, stick around. I'll do whatever I can to help. I'm not saying I can help you. I may not be able to. It may be that your situation is completely outside of your control, and that nothing I do is going to make it better. I'm sorry. But I'll do whatever I can to at least give you a place where you can stop living in the life that you hate and just spend a little bit of time getting away from it and enjoying something that we both like. So, Curran, if you ever watch this, what are you doing with your life? There are so many better things that you can do than watch my really boring content. But if you are watching this, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you want change, yelling at your audience, it's never going to do it. It's just going to make it worse. Because we know that trolls are generally young men who are in pain, who are angry. By attacking them, you are simply creating more. I know it feels good in the moment, but it's not going to feel good in an hour. It's definitely not going to feel good in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. And you're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And it's never going to get any better. If you want it to get better, and I know it's not fair, I know it's not fun, I know you shouldn't have to, there's a cost to doing business. You want it to get better? Then you need to stop, you need to look directly at the camera, and go, hey, those of you who are talking about my physical appearance, or trying to get a rise out of me, I read it, it's not fun for me, but I get why you're doing it. You're in pain for some reason. I don't know what the reason is. Could be completely justified, could be a million different things, but you're in pain and you've made the decision that this is how you're going to deal with your pain. It's the wrong decision. It's not going to help. It's just going to make you more angry. It's just going to make it hurt more. And you can continue doing it for as long as you want. It is your life. You get to make the decisions. You are in control. Never let someone tell you that you don't control your own life. However, if you'd like the pain to stop, if you'd like to stop being angry, then I welcome you to stay. We have a lot of amazing people that work here. We have a lot of amazing people in chat. And we're all here because we love the same thing. We want to have fun together. We want to take ourselves away from the nightmare that is reality and live in a world where good guys win, where you get to do badass things just because you want to, where you get to be the hero of your own story. You get to get the girl, the guy, the girls and the guys, the whatever. That's the world that we want to live in for a little bit. And that's why we do the things that we do. So again, I understand that you're in pain, that you're angry, and the choices that you have made about how to deal with this are not okay. And if you decide that you want to continue making those choices, again, that's entirely up to you. You're not going to be able to do it here. I'm sorry. We care too much about everyone else here for us to allow that to happen. But it doesn't mean that you are a horrible, disgusting person. It means that you made a wrong choice. And because that was a choice, it means that you can also make the right choice. It means you can start interacting with the people here on a healthy level. It means you can make the choice that we probably won't be able to help you beyond giving you a place to get away from the nightmare of reality. But you might want to make the choice to talk to someone who can help. A mental health professional that can help you deal with this anger and this pain in a much better way, that can make the pain eventually go away. And if you want to make that choice, it's absolutely wonderful. There are a lot of different resources for that. But as long as you're here, what we want to do is live in the world of video games and superheroes and stuff like that. So if you want to continue living in this crazy, strange world where things go the way that we want, that we can control the way that people feel about us by giving them gifts, and they all have meters about their relationship, it's perfectly fine. We invite you to stay. If you're going to keep making the wrong choice of attacking me, the other host, or anything like that, then we have to make you leave. I'm sorry. But it doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. It means you're making the wrong choices. If you do that, if you spent the same amount of time on your rants where you talked about misogyny and and sexism and all that stuff, if you took that exact same time and instead of attacking the people that are attacking you, which again is not okay. I'm not saying that this is okay, that this is justifiable, that it in some way, shape, or form should just be expected. No, it's wrong. But if you want it to change, the choice that you made was wrong. And now I'm going to talk directly to Karen. Hi. I know that you're angry. I know that you're in pain. I know it's not fair what they have done to you. But the choice that you have made is wrong. And I know it feels really, really good. But the good feeling goes away really, really quick. Trust me, I know. I have not been in your situation. I don't understand what it's like to be a woman on the internet. I don't. But I do know what it's like to be attacked about something that's completely outside of your control. And I know how good it feels to finally stand up for yourself and to call out the people that have been attacking you and to fight back. I know exactly how good that feels. And it doesn't last. It just doesn't. But you know what does last? When you're able to take someone that is obviously in pain, that is lashing out, because they're in pain, because they feel like they've lost control over their own life, so the only thing that they can think to do is find a way to control someone else's life. When you can sit down with that person and go, hey, I get that you're in pain. I get that I don't understand what you're going through, but I understand pain. And I don't think you're a horrible person. And I don't think you deserve what it was that happened to you. But what you're doing is bad. It's the wrong thing to do. And if I can, and I'm not saying I can, but if it's possible, I can make your life a little bit better by allowing you to come and hang out with us and forget about whatever it is that's causing you pain, I'd like to do that. So, Karen, I'm sorry about what happened to you. I don't think it's okay. I don't think what you did is okay either. I know it felt really good, and it seems like it should be the right decision, but it's not. I hope you have people around you that support you, that make you feel loved, that make you feel safe. Because I know what it can be like when it seems like everybody you know is attacking you. And when you feel alone. And I know what it's like to fight back that first time and to strike back. And I know how good it feels and how right it feels. And I know it doesn't work. So, if there's anything I can do to help, which I will gladly admit probably isn't. But if there's anything I can do to help, I hope I do. And even if it's just by telling you that you matter, that your pain matters, that you are 100% justified in your feelings, you're justified in your anger, it's not okay what they did to you, but the choices that you're making are wrong. If that's all I can do, then I'm happy to do that. So anyway, this has been a very long video. Kind of like what I do. Yeah. If you don't know who DK is, go check him out. I will literally put a link to his Twitch channel in the description because he's that awesome a guy. Curran, if you're watching this, thank you immensely for wasting your time on this. There are many, many better things you could be doing with your life than watching me. And doing that means the absolute world to me. For everyone else, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm not saying what's happened to her and what has happened to countless women across history is okay or is justifiable or should be expected or anything like that. What I'm saying is the cost of doing business is a real thing. And you need to understand there are some people you're never going to be able to help. There are going to be internet trolls. And even if you do exactly what I said, some of them are still going to need to be banned and blocked and whatever. It's just how it is. You can't help anybody. Or you can't help everybody. But attacking your supporters and attacking the people that are attacking you doesn't help. Cost of doing business means understanding that sometimes you have to take the loss to get a win. It sucks. It's not fair. It shouldn't happen, but it does. Anyway, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.